Now, policies are designed to fix issues. And these issues have been identified through needs that have shown themselves up in the society that are begging for solution. And the most strategic way of fixing these needs, of getting these policies accepted and entrenched, is data generation, statistics generation to back it up. Now, our question is, how do you encourage evidence-based idea generation? Now, we encourage it by, first of all, looking at the advantages that the policy is intended to impact. Now, idea generation is already a basic thing, right? But then how do you make people want to go out there to do it, thereby ensuring that the policy they are putting in place is clearly, strategically put in place, is accepted, everybody runs with it, and thereby giving it a better chance of being a success? The first point that we had mentioned, looking at the advantages that our policy is intended to impact. The second is looking at the long-term strategic implications of that policy. Once you look at it and it makes sense, makes positive sense to everyone, and at the end of the day, our livelihood will be bettered for it, the country will run better for it, it'll be easier to encourage one to generate ideas to back it up, to ensure that it actually passes being approved, implemented, and above it all, its success rate is very high. There's no point going through the process of putting policies in place that do not succeed, or that at the end of the day causes more problems than intended to solve. Our third point is stakeholder engagement, to fund out the usefulness and get their absolute buy-in. Once you have done the groundwork or the legwork, and your stakeholders are all brought on board, they see the usefulness of that policy, it will definitely ginger them to generate evidence, whereby idea generation will be very easy. You would have enough statistics data to back up and justify the creation and implementation of these policies. The fourth is discipline in data and statistics generation. It doesn't just happen. It's not by happen chance. If you need something done, you need to be disciplined, you need to be strategic, you need to be intentional about it. Our fifth point is funding R&D into the policy direction. Now, oftentimes we try to reinvent the wheel. You need something done, you go out there and check how someone else is doing that in another country, whereas we could actually but don't forget, our problems are local. So our solutions should actually be local grown. So we need to strategically fund R&D into developing what we need done. Through that, we will generate the data. Clearly, we will generate evidence for it, for the idea generation that will back it up. It will make implementing our policy easier, make acceptance easier, make also the output from that policy easier. The fifth is it will strengthen the implementation of the policy. Once there's evidence-based, it clearly shows that there's a need. The need is being addressed, thereby implementation will be very easy. We won't struggle to implement that policy because everybody wants it, because they've all been bought over to it and to its usefulness. And the sixth point is that when we do a post-policy review, so wherever we are, something has happened to get us to that point of trying to implement that policy. When we look back at where we're coming from, there must have been a problem begging to be fixed. So when we do a past policy review and we do an M&E, a forward-looking M&E, thereby avoiding the pitfalls that past policy had, we would clearly generate enough evidence. We would encourage evidence-based idea generation to ensure that policy, it passes, it's accepted, it's a great success, and at the end of the day, net, we are better for it. Thank you very much.